Hello, dear lute friends. First of all, I would like to thank you for your love to the lute, for your interest in the Luteduo project, for your great feedback, for your emails, for your likes, for your generous support with donations and buying CDs. And today, in the start of this kind of season, and starting to work with our online students and our academy students, I thought it would be nice to talk about one piece which could be an interesting insight into the lute technique, and for those who are probably beginning their adventure with the Baroque lute, that would be interesting as the first piece in the book of Torihiko Sato method for the Baroque lute. And for those who already play the Baroque lute, it's always interesting probably to step back a little bit and have a deeper look into what we are doing. So maybe this could be helpful for you. I would also like to send my very best wishes to all of you for the birthday of Sylvius Leopold Weiss, which is coming on the 12th of October. So this is a great composer who motivated us by his work, and I think it's nice to think of him every time we play the Baroque lute. So I decided to talk today about the piece by Adam Falkenhagen, which is the first real piece in the book of Torihiko Sato, which is coming right after all the initial right hand exercises. So for those who begin their adventure and who probably use the book by Torihiko Sato, this would be the first piece. And I would like to have a little deeper insight into it. So not just to play this piece through, but how one can use it to improve and to develop certain skills. First of all, I think it's important to pay attention to the independence of the right hand fingers. Rather, independence between the thumb and the fingers, the role of the thumb, the role of the pinky finger. And so this piece is very helpful, and it can be used in many different ways to develop these skills. Also, I will talk later about left hand technique, as this is the first piece for some of you. I think it's also interesting to pay attention to the left hand here, because here come the chord shapes and certain also principles of the fingering in the left hand. The score of this piece, with my indications and suggestions, fingerings, etc., is available at our web shop. Please go to the link under the video and order it, of course, for free. Talking about the technical aspect of this piece, I would like to remind you on certain principles of the right hand. So we have the thumb and the fingers. As probably you watched our videos before, it's very important to have a very controlled, very predictable operation of the thumb. The thumb is the left hand of the piano player, and the fingers are the right hand of the piano player. So here we got a red line, let's say imaginary red line, which separates these two entities, which here have the headquarters. So they work independently. We don't use the thumb to play the fingers, we don't use the fingers to help the thumb. So these are two independent creatures. We also have the pinky finger, which is our reference point. We keep it on the soundboard, but very gently. It's just our reference, so please don't nail it into the soundboard. The hand itself, I think, it's also very much reminding the piano hand. So please don't flatten your pinky on the soundboard. It's all nicely curved, and we just play the Baroque lute. I want you to pay attention to this muscle. This is very important. I talked about this before in some tutorial lessons. This muscle has to relax after you play the rest stroke. So once you come onto the next string, this muscle relaxes and the thumb is at point 0. It's totally relaxed and you operate this thumb again. So this is very important and we shall work on it at the first bar of this piece. So as you probably saw, each group of notes in this piece begins with thumb, index in the right hand. What is important about the thumb is that it plays a beautiful, predictable touch. What is a beautiful touch? The beautiful touch is when you play two strings at the same time, when they don't clash, when you really control what's going on and how to achieve it. You could probably notice that when you play the low bass and when you play the high bass, it's quite different. Why is it different? Because once we put the thumb onto the low bass, whatever we do, the angle is such that the surface of the string turns this way. So the bass gets closer to the soundboard while the octave remains at the same place. Once we put the very relaxed thumb, we achieve this and we can. But when we are at the 6th course, for instance, or at the 8th course, it does to get both strings and to get the bass closer to the body. And then we get nice, predictable bass. So here we have to pay really attention to it. So each group of the notes begins with thumb, index. So I would suggest we practice this thumb, index of each group, but also not right one after another, but we play the thumb. You can even touch this muscle here and feel if it's relaxed. You see? So, and then we can play it again. And then let's try to play it very gently. Okay? And feel if the muscle at the rest stroke relaxes. This muscle. Okay? And now we play the two notes. Thumb, index, but waiting for the thumb to relax. I'm doing it a little bit faster probably for the reason of the video, so it doesn't become too long. But the idea is that you probably pluck the bass, wait until it dies down, and then you play the index finger. Then you wait after the index finger, you play the bass, you wait until it dies out, and you feel that this muscle is relaxed. So, and you go through the whole piece. So it has a nice melody. I probably go on the second line. I would suggest you play the bass, you wait for the muscle to relax. You also wait for the bass to die out. And then you play the index finger. Very slowly, the rhythm at this point doesn't mean anything, and the timing doesn't mean anything either. Important is thumb, relaxation, index finger, relaxation, and so on. The thumb plays as gently as possible. The gentler you play, the faster the bass dies out. Maybe wait, really. Next. Wait, relax. Wait. And so on. The slower you do it, the better it is. I'm not doing it super slowly because of the video, so it doesn't become too long. In the course of this initial exercise, we should really concentrate so that we play the thumb, we finish this, and we play a nice, observable, and predictable pluck of the finger, because sometimes we are so afraid about playing the correct notes with the thumb, so that we produce some kind of very, very scared movement of the fingers. So the fingers should really make a predictable movement. It's like on the piano. The motion of the fingers, the movement is the same, but the weight we apply of the hand is different. So thus we get different intensity of the sound. Okay, once we are past this stage, we can try to play arpeggios as they are written. So here we don't forget about the pinky finger, because if the pinky finger is very strongly placed, then the ring finger is not independent anymore. So the independence of the ring finger and its efficiency depends on the very gentle touch of the pinky finger. So that's quite important. And I would suggest we follow the same pattern, so that we play the bass, wait until it dies, and then we start playing the arpeggios. So more or less this way. Or way slower, doesn't really matter. Wait, bass. Wait how it dies. You wait. You may try faster, try slower arpeggios. Again, the slower you do it, the more you control what's going on here, that you can really see how it goes in, how it returns. So the better it is, the better it becomes. So this is the next stage of what you can practice playing this piece. And now I would suggest going to the next stage. I would like to talk about the left hand positions, because for some of you this would be the very first piece you play, and the very first piece where you use the left hand fingers on the stopped strings. On the Baroque lute we have positions mostly which consist of 3 frets. Not like on the violin where we have 5 notes because of the tuning in fifth, or like on the classical guitar where we have 4 notes and we have 4 frets with 4 fingers with lots of barres. On the Baroque lute we have such a tuning which lets us play, for instance, the scale on 2 frets like this. You see? So it's a very different concept of the instrument, and therefore we have positions which consist of 3 frets. And we have thus more fingers than we have frets in position. That's quite important. So the hand is naturally placed. So the Baroque lute is long, it's 69 centimeters at least. Some of them are 70, 71, 72. So it's quite important to observe this left hand position. Another thing on the Baroque lute, because it is very long, the strings are moving this way quite much. What I mean is that they're less stiff than on the Renaissance lute, because that one is shorter, and definitely are much more flexible than on the classical guitar. It's more like electric guitar with very soft strings, so the vertical movement is very strong here. So we have to learn how to play very, very efficient, very clean positions, because once you're in and you applied pressure, you can't do anything. So maybe something doesn't work, you press harder, maybe it will help, but most likely it will not. So you have to be clean from the very beginning, and some of the positions have to be prepared before they're applied onto the soundboard. That's quite important. And here we have a chance to talk about it with positions not being very complicated, but it's a nice piece to try. So I will play each position and explain how we connect chords. So the first chord is this one with the 4th finger. That's quite simple, but look, the elbow and its relation to the pinky finger, it's quite important. So if you play like this, the pinky finger becomes very short, see? But if you play with your elbow down, the pinky becomes that long. That's quite important. And he's the weakest guy in this company. So the pinky, then the ring finger, they're the weakest. So you've got to provide such positions that they have very good treatment, because these 2 guys are very strong, very long, and they will always adjust to these 2 guys, but not vice versa. So we're starting with the 4th finger. That's our first position. Our next position is the 1st finger on the 3rd string. You see? These 2 fingers are on side frets of the position 1 and 4. So no movement almost. That's prepared. Next position on the 2nd line. We just move the 1st finger. We move it back. Here comes our first chord with 3 fingers. At the same time, the pinky finger should think about the next position which is coming. So the chord, pinky. And now look, comes the next chord in the 3rd position. We move here. So our pinky is sitting on the 3rd fret, it's sliding towards this position. Next position, end of the 4th line. Here I would like to pay attention to one thing. The bass should be played only when the position is ready. At least this way it should be done when you practice this piece. Why? Because if you play it before the position is ready, so you play the bass and then later you prepare what comes, the bass sends a signal to the left hand that it has to hurry up with position, and that's not good. So the left hand has to be super comfortable. It plays always before the right hand. I think it's totally forbidden to push the left hand with the right hand. First left, then right. Okay? So end of the fourth line. This chord, right? And then we get the F minor chord. We have two types of the barré on the Baroque lute. On the first two strings or the big barré. At least these are two most popular barrés. We rarely have something on three strings. There are, of course, other types of barrés, but I think the most used are on two strings and on the big barré. So I would suggest we play the big barré on this F minor chord, but we concentrate on first three strings. So the top of the finger is not so important, so you can even release it a little bit. So that's our F minor chord. Then comes the nasty chord, the diminished chord, this one. I think for the people who just start playing the Baroque lute, this is quite a nasty chord. So I have a solution for that, which I describe in my score, which you can download. It is tuning the 12th chords into B natural. So we changed the score a little bit. So the bass is played octave lower. So absolutely, if this chord is difficult, don't hesitate, just change it right away. Don't fight it. It will come later with ease. So we play this. Then comes the C major. You might want to play a barré here. Please not. So just with the fingers. 1, 2, 3. Then comes the next one. We move everything and we play 1, 3, 4. And then we play with fingers 1, 2, 3. That's the end of the piece. I think probably it is nice to practice this without really playing the piece, just connecting these chords. I think this is probably more important to do before you really play the piece through. Okay, once we are past all these stages, I think I'm going to talk about the most interesting way of working with this piece. We have to develop independence between the fingers. So I would suggest that we play the thumb 3 pianos and the fingers, except for the index, 3 piano. Super soft, but the index we keep playing normally. We don't accent it, we get it exposed by taking everything around it off. On the lute, it's very important to prepare the crescendo, to prepare the accents by playing the preceding material softly. Then we have much stronger effect. So at the moment, normal index and everything around very softly. And we follow the same thing. We follow the thumb, we wait, and then we play the arpeggios. So that's how it goes. Thumb. Wait. And so on, so that we listen to the melody which is coming from the 3rd and the 4th string where the index finger is playing. So in reality, it goes this way. more or less this way, so that you listen to the index finger. The rest of the notes, the thumb and the fingers, they should just provide a very observable movement. At the same time, you're just patting the strings. You're getting some kind of sound. It doesn't really matter. Later, you can work on other fingers, but that's a kind of, I think it's an easier task. But it also can have some use. So we're working, for instance, on the second finger. So we have 3 F notes in the group, right? So we may try to play first piano, next one stronger, next one stronger. So very slowly. This way. So try to develop the independence, and of course then the ring finger, but also we can do crescendo and decrescendo, right? Or other way around. So the idea is that we develop independence in the right hand. I think this is a very nice way of working on this piece. The piece is quite beautiful, I think, and we can play it by many different ways. I hope this lesson was helpful. I wish you very good practice. Those players who are interested in getting deeper into it with us, I invite to our online lute class. This year we work, of course, on the lute, Baroque lute, the oboe and Baroque guitar, but also on the 6-string guitar without nails or with nails. Especially we pay attention to the basso continuo on all the plucked instruments, and especially on the 6-string guitar, which we think is very useful and is very necessary to popularize among the guitar players. Greetings from Anna and from the Luteduo. Bye, see you soon.